Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, so Jason and Sitwell. This scene kind of perplexed me a little bit because, at first Sitwell's like, where's Holly? Holly's supposed to come here to give the diamonds, not you. And Jason's like, hey, listen, I'm here. I got the diamonds, so we're gonna do this or what? He gets proof of life. They also see the fact that Sasha's they're trying to um get out the air duct. And so Sitwell at this point is like, okay, where's the diamonds? Sitwell sets a timer, and Jason gives him the diamonds. Now, at this point, I'm just like, okay, you have the diamonds. You don't really need Sasha alive, and you don't even need to sit there and have him alive at this point. Sitwell's not the type of person that I would sit there and say has any honor. Not really. And I get he wanted to get his diamonds back and everything like that. But does this guy strike you as somebody where it's like you're giving the diamonds? He's like, oh, okay. All right, well, you can go and sit there and find her now. It's a couple of floors. Good luck. Instead of just being like, I don't really need you anymore. So I'm genuinely surprised that he just let him run past to go try to find Sasha. Now I get it. Maybe it's just he likes to play games, just like he liked to sit there and play cards for 5 or 7 days or 2 weeks or however long that nonsense went on for. But I'm just like, what? Anyway, Sasha sees the timer, and so she starts to panic. Jason finds her 5 seconds later, 5 seconds less, and, they're able to sit there and get out the building. Meanwhile, Jack is not there, I guess, like, overseeing the operation or whatever. Like, he's on a rooftop somewhere or whatever, so I didn't see a gun or anything. So, did anyone actually have any snipers on this guy? I'm really curious about that. It was just him and Jason? It wasn't just him and Jason, because I know that he was talking to somebody else, so I'm whatever. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Anyway, you have Holly and Robert, and at this point, Holly's they're practically jumping out of her skin, and she wants to sit there in Boston and try to find Sasha, or at least go off with some air, whatever. And Robert's they're trying to keep her calm. And surprisingly, Holly didn't leave until she heard that there was an explosion. So I guess she left, went down there, and then came all the way back because Mr. Brennan got back Jason and Sasha. And people were listening to this saying, well, who should Sasha go with next? Jason ain't doing anything. They ain't cousins. I know people want, Sasha to go back out with Michael, but, and that's probably most likely the scenario, but just an alternative. Cody, after telling Tracy, because, Tracy comes in the barn and she's there looking for Sasha to try to cook the kids some meals and stuff. He's all kind of sore about the whole thing. He tells Tracy that they're first cousins and that her mother is Holly. And Tracy laughs, and Tracy's like, well, consider yourself lucky that you dodged a bullet. Now, Cody's like, Sasha's nothing like Holly. And that's true now. But when she first came in, yeah, she kind of was. In a sense, she was running a con. She was there moving in on Kiki's man at one point. Griffin at the time. So she wasn't really that far off from her mom. Anyway, they start talking about Drew, and Cody's like, yeah, I accepted a bribe from Drew or whatever to keep silent about his extracurricular activities. And Tracy pretty much is like, you should have held out for more. Cody starts going in on his random, out of nowhere beef with Drew, talking about he's all smug and, you know, he shows the world one thing, and meanwhile he's a dirtbag and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, because, you're really one to judge, right? Um, but then towards the end of the scene, Tracy's like, hey, listen, this if Drew does something that's out of character, out of line, you make sure I know because, we're going to sit there and keep an eye on him. I mean, that's what they used to sit there and do back in the day when I used to sit there and watch it back in the early 2000s. They would always sit there and be plotting and scheming against each other. So, it's what it is, I guess. Now, while Anna's not there giving Jack's answer machine voicemail an earful, Rick comes over, and Rick is pretty much want to know about the evidence. And particularly, he wants to know about the photos and where she got them from. Now, Anna does this whole long away speech or whatever, and pretty much it's like, well, Sonny was investigating Ava for, the custody case or whatever. Which I'm wondering if that even is still a thing right now. But long story short, she got it from Jason, right? And so, Houston, they're looking at this as another way of the PCPD mismanaging evidence and stuff. And, he's going to probably try to use that to get Ava off. They go back and forth, back and forth. Pretty much kind of they're saying that Anna is not, like, she's not a dirty cop, but she does bend the law for, like, friends like Sonny and Jason and stuff. And at that point, Anna just had enough, and she's like, you know what, listen, you can go. She gets word of the explosion, and then she goes down to the scene and sees Dex, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Dex, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting that you're still a character here. So he didn't really go anywhere. They're looking for Sitwell. I'm pretty sure he probably wound up escaping. Um, Alexis comes over Olivia's and tells Olivia that she wants to sit down and take Scout and Danny to live with her. DC Drew's going to be mostly in DC if he wins the election, so there's that. And then there's Danny, and this is where I start to have a bit of pause, right? Because she's like, hey, Danny's going to sit there and love with me, and I was like, you do realize you have a father, right? And I get it. I know I can already sit there and see the comments. He's in the mob. He's mob life. Mob, 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 mob. And I get that part. But there's something about that just kind of irks me a little bit. Okay? Like, one of the things she does sit there and say is, well, Sam wouldn't want Jason's influence. And I'm like, well, Sam isn't here. And Jason does have rights as a father. Let's not sit there and try to discount that shit. So while you're sitting there saying, what would Sam want? Well, that's not up to Sam at this point. It's up to Jason. Now, most likely, Jason will probably sit there and do his best for Danny, but the fact that you didn't even sit there and give that option, you just walked in, you was like, oh, I'm going to take Scout and Danny. I was like, first of all, I'm pretty sure you should probably talk about this with Drew before you decide to start doing anything. So I felt like she was just really out of pocket in this scene. And then she talks to Dante and tells him the same thing. Now I get it. Scout and Danny um, isn't his children. And I think it's just more the way that she said it. Because it's not like she pretty much asked, it's not like she came over there, it's like, let's not think about it would be best if the kids stay with me. As opposed to, well, I'm gonna sit there and take them, and they're gonna live with me. They're gonna live with you, like it's like there's no asking, just like, well, I'm gonna do this, and that's just it. And I have issues with that, you know. Um, Now on the flip side, when Alexis is there talking about funeral arrangements and stuff like that, Dante's just like, oh, just do his best. And I'm kind of like, here's the thing. I get it. He's grieving, right? But like, while you just lost, somebody that you loved, she lost a daughter, you know? So like, the least you can sit there and do is help out with the funeral arrangements, you know? Help out with the funeral arrangement. Maybe even get Olivia involved. Don't you think that Alexis is going through enough without you just to say, oh yeah, whatever works. So I felt like that was a little out of, and again, I get it. I'm not sitting there trying to go too hard on him because I know that he's grieving too. But again, while you may have lost your future wife, he lost a daughter. Um, Now Holly does come back with Robert, and Sasha is surprised that she actually gave up the diamonds. So, they all hug and everything like that. And, I saw in the previews, it looks like Sasha's going to try to, you know, end her visit on a more positive note. She did something good for once, even though her diamonds is, and what she did wound up getting Sasha caught up in the middle of this. She did sit there and give it up with no hesitation. I almost forgot about there was some scenes with Brooklyn and Chase. Um, After Brooklyn's there for Dante, Chase comes in there, and Chase pretty much kind of gives Brooklyn an update on Finn and Violet and everything like that. Um, and then they talk about making a baby, and that's pretty much about it. Decent episode. Again, I get it. Here's the thing. I feel like if this was back in the early 2000s, it would have been more of a shootout. Okay, Sitwell would have not just sat there and said, "Oh, well, you gave me my diamonds, so I guess I'll let you go and a deal is a deal. I believe in honor." Was it the same guy? Well, I mean, the guy did steal her from him, but still, I feel like it would have been played out a little bit differently. He wouldn't have been so charitable, and I get it. It's like 5 minutes, close to 5 seconds, and he had to sit there and try to go through 5 floors. But still, um, I don't think he just would have just let him go. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else. This was a decent episode. Decent episode. Um. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. If I missed anything, write in the comment section below, or better yet, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be sitting there talking about all the shows: General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video.